Hey, today I want to stay in verses 6 through 9 of Genesis 26. Continue talking about this sin that Isaac commits. Now, there was a lack of trust in God. He kind of fell from a mountaintop experience of having God speak to him and say these things to him. And then the next part of this is he copies a sin. Absolutely 100% copies the sin of Abraham. Because Abraham goes to Egypt, does the same thing, and then Abraham does the same thing again later on as well. So we've got just repeat. Now that's, fascinating to me when I stop and I think about it. Because I don't believe in like generational curses, right? I don't think that in New Testament, in our covenant that we have with Jesus Christ, that anyone is cursed because of the sins of their father. Isaac was not cursed because of the sins of his father. That's stuff that happens in places like North Korea, okay? That if a family member, breaks a law or does something that the incredibly awful communist government says is wrong and throws them in prison, oftentimes the rest of the family gets thrown in prison too, right? China is doing this same kind of thing, that if somebody breaks a law, their kids aren't allowed to attend certain schools. Your kids can't go to school if you break our laws. It's unbelievably ridiculous stuff. That's not God. God judges us independently, right? I'm not responsible for the sins of my father, and my father is not responsible for my sins. But what does happen all the time is that these sins are repeated just because it's kind of ingrained in us. That's what really happens. We're likely to repeat it. I see that. I see it all the time. I've watched it. I've watched it in kids. Being a youth minister for years and seeing some kids, very honestly come from really difficult backgrounds and home lives. I've seen on a lot of occasions a child commit the same sins as the father or the mother. That they follow those same life patterns that leads them down a certain road. And I've seen it on a very healthy side. Kids follow patterns from their parents that lead them towards the Lord. I've witnessed both. I see it all. So when I stop and, I think about that, that's a really, really important thing for us to understand and know. That you are not destined to repeat the sins of your father or mother, but you better be careful because you very easily will. And he does this by claiming Rebekah is his sister instead of his wife because there was fear. Look, you need to understand and know the sins that you can be susceptible to. Look back at the sins of the past, the sins of your family, the things that your father or mother struggled with. Guard yourself against those things because understand you are more susceptible to those types of things than maybe any other type of sin in your life as an individual. Learn that lesson and avoid the pitfalls of Abraham and Isaac. See you soon.